Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the stock market update video, where we do analysis on QQQ, Sp500, as well as the 7 mega-cap tech stocks: Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta. So yesterday we were talking about a couple of the mega-cap tech stocks potentially hitting resistance, as well as a couple of them still needing to join the uptrend, like Amazon. And so today we had news on Apple, saying the China officials are banning iPhone for their government officials, and we had a very notable drop in Apple, so which pulled down the market. So we'll be talking about Apple in a second in order. And if you guys are looking for any tickers or symbols that you guys want to look at, for example, if you just want to look at Nvidia, just jump to the timestamp. I put them in the comments below, and yeah, we'll get to it. So this is more so a technical plus a fundamental drop at the same time. So we'll be talking about that, as well as Nvidia had some news as well, but it was expected for the pullback anyways from the technicals standpoint. So you could say the algos and the news may be just working together. So let's get started with QQQ first, and then we'll go in order. All right, let's take a look here. So pretty much a decent drop, I would say. We had further consolidations. You guys know how I talk about when we got our consolidation last Friday, meaning the low of the candle went below the prior candle. So that's what a consolidation means. And you can see on this entire move up, we did not have that until last Friday. And I said daily consolidation is on its way. And the key for me is to see the size of the pullback to determine our next move. The size of the bounce gives the most probability of the pullback being shallow. But now I want to see bulls actually playing defense on that and supports. So essentially that is what we got today, but I can't confidently say that this is the bottom for the pullback yet, because we did hit this exact support. Show you guys right here. Give me a second. At this Thursday's high, this 372.74. So that level was the level that everyone was watching, where we needed to break above it to confirm the daily uptrend. So we confirmed that on Tuesday when we broke above it. You can see once QQQ had a big move up, and this is the pivot set, and we broke above that Thursday's high, that resistance there. It was a daily uptrend confirming. And once the daily uptrend confirmed, we had more follow through. So that's a good sign for the bulls. And we pull back to it, it should act as support. If it didn't and we just flushed through it, then that's a red flag. So we did act as initial support. You can see we have resistance over here as well, and some resistance along the way as well here, and resistance here. So we can come back to it, which coincides with the 12 EMA, this teal looking line, at the same time, which was acting as prior resistance. So 12 EMA just means exponential moving average. You type in 12, you get that line. You see right here, resistance, rejection, another rejection here, and we were over it, bounce off of it, support. So I want to see us bounce off of that as well. It did on the NASDAQ, but we'll just stick to QQQ for now. And we zoom in to give us more clarity on what the bounce have looked like during that, when we hit that 374 support. So this is where we hit the support. You can see bulls play defense here. We bounce, it's a decent bounce, and we pulled back. Bulls played support here as well, meaning you can see right here in the morning, that was a support. In the afternoon here was support as well, and the support over here. And we bounced into the end of the day. So can we confidently say this is the temporary low for QQQ as of now, and that we may come back up here and test tomorrow to this 375 zone to test the area? So far, we can say, let's see here on the hourly, you can say 40%, 40 to 50, but I want to see an hourly trend change before I can confidently say to get more of like a 60-70% that this is the temporary low and that we're heading higher. Because we did get hourly oversold on the RSI. So when hourly oversold marks the temporarily bottom for daily charts, it means it's a very strong daily uptrend. We're still in a daily uptrend here. So if the hourly oversold marks the bottom of the consolidation and we bounce, and I would very likely say this is the bottom being set on QQQ. Now we did bounce off of that hourly oversold, the very first one, ever since we got this daily uptrend. But I want to see an hourly trend change to increase that probability for me that this is the temporary bottom. And for your aggressive bulls, obviously you could have gone in here at the hourly oversold and place your stop loss below the 374 for your aggressive bulls. For you more conservative bulls, you want to see that pull back on the hourly, setting the pivot of the low, higher low, meaning the low of the pivot is going to be higher than this low, obviously. And to get in there and then set the stop loss either below that pivot or below this prior low to confirm the hourly uptrend. For you even more conservative bulls, you would want to see a hourly uptrend confirm, then get in, or a hourly uptrend confirm, and then the back test of that prior support, then you see that bounce, then you get in. So depending on how conservative or aggressive bulls you are, there's a couple of plates that you guys can get in, depending on your trade style. And we'll see if we get an hourly trend change shape up tomorrow or not. If not, then we'll see more downside on QQQ, eventually to test lower levels. Let's take a look at what levels we'll be looking at if we don't see a bounce hourly trend change tomorrow. Yeah, there's a couple of levels down here. If we break that 374, we'll come down to 371 zone as well. And if that breaks, we're coming back down to 370. So yeah, it's a couple of levels here. And if that happens, it will start favoring the bears a little bit more due to the size of the retracement. Right now, we're still in just above the bull flag territory because we're still above the 38.2% level. The 38.2% level just means the bottom of the move, we measure it from the bottom to the top. That's 100% of the move. And the opposing move have only retraced 38.2% of it, of the 100% move. So within the 38.2% move, we are in a bull flag territory. So it's a good sign that we did bounce here. And at the same time, we got our very first hourly oversold and bounced there. And it coincides with the bull flag territory. So chances of it bouncing, I would say, is higher than it dropping more. But if it does drop more, then we have started to negate the bull flag. And we break the EMA 12. And we didn't bounce after the RSI oversold. So that'll be 3 red flags. Then we're probably heading down to the 50% mark around the 370 zone. So we'll see how it shapes up tomorrow. So later this week is going to be pretty key for me. Let's say tomorrow we just get an inside bar. Then it's no big deal. We'll have to wait till Friday if that happens. Then let's see if we get some bounces going or not. Because if we do start to drop lower, then we're trying to shape up that equilibrium that I'm talking about into the end of the year. And then potentially break up or lower below that. So we'll see if the equilibrium shapes up or we're going to come back up to test this recent 53 high. All right, let's take a look at SPY. So SPY yesterday was really weak and its weakness continued today. Where we're looking at the heat map, every sector was red other than QQQ and semis. So that's why SPY was underperforming yesterday. And the weakness carried over to this morning. But we did see a slight bounce as well into the end of the day with QQQ, and both SPY bouncing at the same time. So similar to QQQ, I have to take a look at the hourly. I want to see an hourly uptrend as well confirmed. So now the bounce as well here, you can see this was also hourly oversold on the RSI as well. So the bounce on the hourly on QQQ and both SPY gives the bulls enough room to change the trend on the next pullback on the hourly to an uptrend. So that's the initial good sign, but we still want to see the bulls being serious about playing offense here. That's why we want to see a trend change. A trend change just means for me that bulls play defense. It could be just shorts covering at the same time, and bulls playing defense. So we get some volume come in, and the trend change when we pull back just means that bulls are still serious about buying the stock. So we form a higher low and go up. If they aren't, we roll over, right? That just means then we will just know that this was just some people taking profit covering their shorts and some bulls playing a short-term bounce. They like traders getting in and out, So it wasn't any of serious buying. It's mostly just defense. That's what I want to see. On a daily, similar. See if we go lower than here, then the most probability is the equilibrium. But as of now, we are still slightly okay, but we're getting to that zone where we're starting to hit that 50% mark. You can see we got below it slightly, but we bounce back above it. So if SPY gets another leg down, then it's going to start favoring the bears now for that potential equilibrium tightening up or even a daily downtrend. But as of now, I can't say that yet because bulls play defense here. So we want to see if bulls are serious tomorrow or not about it. If not, we may just form a lower high, meaning this high is lower than this high for a downtrend. Now, we'll see how it shaped up. All right, let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla here looks. Oh, I'm on the weekly chart. Okay, give me a second. So on daily charts looks decent to me. Definitely, even though it dropped more than QQQ, 1.78%. To me, I would say it's outperform. Still outperform QQQ because not because it's dropped more. It's because the way it's held its levels. You can see this was a big drop, big bounce, big drop, and now it's tightening into equilibrium. So this is what a textbook equilibrium looks like. What I just tried to describe to you guys on the daily chart on QQ. So the next move is also always within the prior move. So you can see the bounce is within the drop move and just gets smaller and smaller. It's always within the move. So that's not very likely we'll see a break of this tightening range into Friday. It could break out of it tomorrow for sure, but if it doesn't, then it just gets tighter into Friday, and then that's gonna be the end of the pattern. It will likely break out of that very soon. You can see it's holding really well after its yesterday's recovery from the Friday's drop. See, we're holding close to the top of its range and still above the 5.2 level. So that's a good sign. But I still want to see a hourly trend change as well. But if we're tightening up, we probably won't get it. Something more like that. So on the next pullback, we're going to have a move within the prior move, right? So let's say we continue the bounce tomorrow. So a little bit higher. And then we pull back a little bit. So that's still the equilibrium shaping up. But on the next bounce, let's say we go above the prior high, then that's a breakout. That's a breakout of the equilibrium and as well as an hourly uptrend confirmed at the same time. And that's what I want to see. If we get that volume come in and we just break these levels, then we're probably going to head higher. So we'll see if that, and I'm getting a bull break out of it. Obviously, if QQ is going to be really weak tomorrow, then we won't. But if this was the low for QQ, then we're going to get a green day. And that's what I will likely do. Pretty much what I told you guys. That's trend change as well. See. That ends up happening here. But on that, it's looking, yeah, it's looking decent. No huge red flags at the moment. Daily uptrend still intact. All right, let's take a look at Nvidia. Nvidia, we are Reason my internet's a bit slow today, but that's all right. But yeah, big pullback today, and also had some news as well about. I think there's just some rumors online saying someone was testing his chips, and there's just some fraud going on. But not that big of a deal. We'll just look at the price actions. So price action still doesn't have red flags for me on the chart, but we still got to be a little bit cautious because currently still in a daily uptrend, but haven't broken the prior pivot yet. We gotta zoom out to take a bit of notice where it came from, right? If we it's came from once close to 142 here, and we're currently sitting at 500 levels, and a pullback back here wouldn't be anything surprising, right? And a bounce here, no big deal. Um, yeah, so it could be something where we tighten up into later into the year. Just go to the weekly chart. It's a big move up, right? We can potentially tighten up into sideways at the end of the year. So that's a very possibility, especially given the size of the move that we have been going up. Yeah, if you go to the weekly chart, this is a straight up move. So going sideways wouldn't be surprising for me. But as of now, we still follow the trend. So as long as it is a daily uptrend, I wouldn't be betting on that's going to go sideways until it starts to shape up that equilibrium for me. Then you'll start favoring the bears. If we get a bigger drop, then we will look for that sideways range now. So now we can't confidently say that because this drop is still not that big enough for me to say sideways is the most likely. So we will see if this hourly oversold bounce is gonna give us an hourly uptrend or not. You can tell right away that this hourly bounce is a lot weaker than QQQ's hourly oversold bounce. Yeah, even though it bounced more, but it's still, you can see the structural of the candle. Based on this drop, this is still a bear flag on the hourly, because this bounce is not over 0.382 compared to this pullback. So it's the bear flag. So if this can negate, break above this level, this 471.9, then we negated the bear flag as well as form a hourly uptrend. It's very key for Nvidia tomorrow. We're pretty near support here. You see all this volume of supports. And if it bounces there, then the daily structural, very intact, then it'll be no red flags. We get another leg down all the way down here and break this prior pivot, then we're starting to break the structural of the charts to a more bearish chart. So right now, no signs of that yet. I mean, not like no signs, but still, you guys know what I mean. Haven't gotten close to it. We still got a lot of room to it. Yeah, we still got another 4.4% before we get to that level. So we'll see if the QQ bounces tomorrow or not with Nvidia. All right, we'll take a look. All right, now we're talking about Apple, the guy who dropped the market today. So pretty much it is the technical plus the fundamental momentum together. So essentially we got the news on China not wanting to banning it from the government officials there banning it from using it. And at the same time, we hit this strong level of resistance at 190. You can see we couldn't get over it over here as well. And it makes sense because not only because we hit 190, it's because the speed that we went up to hit 190. So I mean, the faster that we go up, the resistance level, the harder it's going to reject. There's less support along the way versus something like this, right? Look at how much structural this is while we're going up. Every time we chop it a little bit, we chop around, and then we form a sideways range, and then we go up, we come back, we form more supports along the way, and we chop as we go up. So this kind of price action forms a lot of foundations, supports along the way. So it's a lot harder for when we get a drop. let's say from here to here, right? I remember there was a couple of red days here on the market overall as well. And you can see the drop is very controlled compared to something like a waterfall, because we have less supports along the way, straight into 8% into a strong resistance. And then it gives the bears an excuse when we have a news like what we got this morning, um, a bearish news. So at the same time, we get fundamental, technical resistance, rejection with some news momentum at the same time. Let's say the news momentum potentially would have been just a 1.5% downside. And then when you combine it with the technicals, then it increases the momentum. Let's say the technicals would have dropped, let's say another 1.5%, let's say 3% together, right? But combining the two, you get more momentum at the same time, and it ends up being a 4% drop. So that's what the psychology behind the speed of the move and the speed of move that hits resistance, and combining news, fundamentals, and technical at the same time, the kind of price action that you get. You usually don't see this often, especially on a $3 trillion stock. But yeah, glad to talk about it today. So you guys learned something. So right now we're looking at to see if where's the bottom for Apple, pretty much. So we also got our hourly bounce, oversold bounce, but this is not the kind of hourly oversold bounce that we want to see when it hits close to 21, right? The most bullish charts on the very first hourly oversold on a uptrend, the daily uptrend, is something like, comes to like 28 or like 29, maybe sometimes even 31, because bulls front load it and they don't want it to, they want to load it before everyone else does because they all know it's going to bounce, right? So when it gets to 21 and it gets oversold pretty much all day down here, right? It's not as bullish as bulls will like for an hourly bounce play. Compared to all the other charts we just looked at, Tesla, SPY, and QQQ, you can see this bounce is very weak. Probably not even over the 20% yet. Let's take a look. Yeah, we're not even at the 23.6%. And we just eye out, we're probably bounce only 20% of this entire drop. Right, so this is still an hourly 4-hour bear flag that could very easily rebound tomorrow here and then roll over as a bear flag. So for me, I would say this probability of this being the temporary bottom is quite low unless we get a solid green day tomorrow on QQQ, where Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta is pulling its weight, and this thing would just be like slightly green, kind of pulling it up by QQQ. Other than that, I don't see B shaping or anything like that. But we did get that hourly oversold bounce. So if we get an hourly trend change back here to the bulls, then I would more confidently say this could be the temporary bottom, and that we're starting to shape up back up again. So we'll see if Apple gives us that temporary bottom hourly trend change, because we also did hit exact Thursday's high support. Guys, on that Thursday's high that we need to break come from that daily uptrend from QQQ and every other mega cap tech stock. So that's this level right here at 181.55. That's where we bounce as well. So we got two good signs, but it's still favoring the bear side momentum at the moment. So if you get that hourly trend change back, then I would say, yeah, you may potentially start to shape up a bounce here. We'll see on that one. Yeah, pretty much just 2 candles end of the day on that bounce here. So yeah, definitely need more price action and time to see what it actually really want to do. There's just 30 minutes of bounce. Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at Amazon. Amazon still hasn't confirmed its daily uptrend. the last one here. This is one big move. We did get 3 days of pullback, and let's measure it. It looks like it's getting close to that 50% for me. Sec here. Are we at the 50%? Yep, we got over the 50% and did close above it, but it's not looking that good. I mean, as long as we bounce here, we still got a good chance of it confirming a daily uptrend. We have to break this high though, at this 140 high, to confirm a daily uptrend. We'll see if we can do that or not. Give us cut some slack today because QQQ was red, so we'll have to see when QQQ goes green tomorrow. I definitely want to see some bulls try to get us back above. It's Friday's high, 140 confirmed the daily uptrend. Look on the hourly here. So Amazon hourly never got oversold. We did maybe here. Let's take a look. So on this candle, okay, the next one went slightly lower than the prior one, so we did got oversold here. Because that candle ended up bouncing and closed there, you won't be able to see it on the chart anymore. So yeah, similar. There's a good sign. You can see these bounces are a lot more than Apple. From Apple, we can tell it's still in a bear flag. This is not anymore. Just from eyeing it, it's already over 38.2%. So it's not in a bear flag territory anymore. And the size of the bounce also gives bulls enough room for the hourly trend change now. Versus Apple, it's like one mini bounce, one little candle, right? If it just has a next candle that's red, where are the bulls going to play that higher low, right? There's no pivots they can really set anymore because there's such a little room to work with. It's this. If we pull back, 1 or 2 candles, we still got a lot of room to work with for bulls to buy the next dip. So we'll see. Amazon can pull off its daily uptrend. The last one to join. All right, take a look at Google. Google here is forming its chop zone. Yep, very similar to charts. You can almost tell like it's the algos just trading all these stocks. And then because they hit they all hit the Thursday's high when they confirm that daily uptrend. So 134.25 here. Down to it and then bounce off of it as well. Same thing. We did bounce off of it. Big enough room where we may potentially ship up the hourly uptrend. Same thing. You can tell this RSI down here. Yeah, it's right above it like Amazon did, but you can see the next candle went below it. So while this candle was down here, RSI was oversold. But because it closed over here, you can see the data ended up being different. But we know it was oversold based on the candles. So we'll see. This bounce wasn't as strong because the drop wasn't as big. You can see Google for the last couple of days only dropped like this, right? So still within 0.382, but I wouldn't be as concerned on Google because of it's barely dropped for the last couple of days. 0.34, 0.9. It's like nothing compared to Apple's drop. So yeah, no signs of red flags on it. Absolute zero. You can see it bounce off of its prior resistance here, now acting as support. So we might end up forming those chop zones that I talk about all the time, where every time Google makes a new move up to a new level, it forms a chop zone. Just a new chop zone here. And if it comes, it may form a new chop zone here. So yeah. Microsoft also holding decently, and we formed a lower wick. So after a daily uptrend being confirmed yesterday, finally, everyone was waiting for Microsoft to confirm as well. So you can see Microsoft only confirmed it yesterday on the daily uptrend. broke this Thursday's high right here and we closed above it, so it's a good sign. And then came back below it, bounced, so that's good. Look, zoom in, and you can see because of relative strength, Microsoft pretty much bounced 80% of its drop. So that's a very good sign for me. It's very notable. Microsoft was much stronger than its peers today in the mega cap techs versus Apple, where you can see all the way, it pretty much bounced like that. One candle right there. That's Apple's chart. Microsoft, they're pretty much bounced almost 80% of its drop. And we all also back above Thursday's resistance. So we're pretty much there. And tomorrow, we're actually over that after hours. We just look at the after hours. So slightly, but this looks like a bull flag. But let's see if it's a bull flag or not. Oh, it retraced too much. It's close to this is close to 50% already. Just from eyeing it. So it's not a bull flag, but a decent bounce. Strongest mega cap today. So we'll see if Amazon can carry the weights for QQ tomorrow. We get breakouts up to 335 tomorrow, or we just get a triple top inside bar day where we get like a very chill day. Market goes sideways, and we just get an inside bar. We got oversold. Nope, not even close to this one on the hourly. So yeah. All right, so bulls will be hoping for Microsoft to hold the weights for us tomorrow. All right, take a look at Meta. Yeah, so that's why we do these 7 mega cap techs, so we get a better understanding of how QQQ is going to run. Because if Microsoft decides to go up 2% tomorrow, QQQ is not going to drop that much. Even let's say Apple goes down 1%, Microsoft goes down 2%, and the rest just stays flat. QQQ is going to be green. So we get much more clues on where the market is heading. Even on any stock, even on the smaller cap stocks, sometimes they move with QQQ. And it's like a sentiment. So if let's say the whole market is red 3%, your stock is probably not going to be green anyways, unless it's just some random small cap name. So it's always good to know where the market SPY and QQ is currently heading and its sentiments. So Meta, it's just a slow grind up every day, and it gets higher and higher and higher, and just comes back to it. But yesterday, you guys know how I talk about we finally closed above its 301 resistance, because every time you can see we closed below it. And this is the first day we closed above it. And we're now like pretty much on it, but I'm going to cut it some slack, down 0.33%, because QQ was red today. QQ to be down close to 1% and Meta only down 0.33. Meta definitely did a good job on holding its levels. You can see as well, right away we can tell that it already bounced over 50% of its drop. So that's a good sign. And let's just hope that it doesn't reject here again tomorrow and roll down, because you can see a clear level of support here on the short term here at 294 has been bouncing every single time. And this time we bounced higher than 294. So that's essentially the bulls telling us that they want it more expensive than 294. So that's a good sign. And now I want to see a follow through. And we'll finally say we can have a clear break above its resistance. And Meta is already in a daily uptrend after we broke above it from that Thursday's high already. So I just want to see us have more follow through after that break, because that level is pretty much right here, around the same 301 resistance zone. See, kind of like paddling here for the last 4 days, bulls and bears. See if it ends up resolving itself. See very clear resistance here. This uptrending resistance goes higher every time, rejects. So yeah, come back up here again tomorrow. We'll see if it rejects again. And if it rejects, right? Let's say it just rejects. If it only pulls back slightly, then that's a very good sign that we're going to break above that resistance line. But if we get something like a U-turn like this, then we're gonna need more work back up here again. So yeah, I guess if we get a really green day tomorrow on QQQ and it comes back, test this, it's just gonna pull back very slightly. It won't be like a rejection like this because QQQ was down 1% today and Meta held decently. So, and we bulls play defense above 4, setting a higher low. We'll look at signs on Meta. So if Meta goes green tomorrow and Microsoft as well, Google pulling some weight, Amazon maybe show up a little bit. As of now, I won't count on it, but it probably would just troll people. And Nvidia is still weaker on the weaker side. Tesla's on the stronger side. Apple definitely the weakest. So yeah, so we have a little bit of a mix bag into tomorrow, and we'll have to see if QQ ends up shaping up early uptrend or not. All right, that's all I got, you guys. If you guys want to support the channel, feel free to click the join button link below in the membership, or if you guys use Patreon, you guys can use that, depending on whichever way is more easier for you guys as well. And all likes, shares, and subscribes are appreciated. And if you guys have anything, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for more updates.